Good morning, Bliss Yogis. Good afternoon, Bliss Yogis. Good evening, Bliss Yogis. Whenever it is that you're watching this, welcome once again to another episode of BlissTV. Today, I'm your instructor. My name is Olaf. Welcome to Bliss Yoga Studios in Monroe, Washington. As I said, whatever time of day it is that you're watching this, we're about to enter into a practice that is wonderful any time of the day. YinYasa. We like to call it our yoga parfait. 3 layers of asana, all with a different flavor until you get down to the yumminess on the bottom, which is your guided meditation today. And so as we come into this, let me explain a few things. Let's get comfortable first. Now in this practice, because we do a lot of different things, a lot of different asana, I want you to make sure that you have all the equipment that you think you need to have around. Now, towels are here not just to wipe the sweat, but to use in place of a strap. The water bottle is here not just to hydrate, but to use in place of a block. Now, there are some circumstances where I would not lay on top of my water bottle, so you can use a pillow in those as well. And as you come down onto the mat, realize that you may have just woke up, or you may just gotten off from your desk after a day of home at work, or you have maybe just walked away from the kids after having taught homeschool for 3 hours. Wherever you are and whatever it is that you're doing, this is now your time. And so there is a certain release that needs to happen. And that's when you learn to let go. After all, it's not the destination. It's the journey, and being able to take a deep inhale in along the way and smell the wonderful smells around you and see the wonderful sights around you. Just for a moment, right then in the present, is the centering thought that you can have as you start your practice. It's the same thing. The journey is within. And as you do, let's come down to the mat. You notice my mat is sideways. I'm going to give you a profile of a lot of the postures. Occasionally I will spin forward so that you can see what's happening in different directions. Stay lateral on your mat and you'll be fine today. Okay, let's start by coming down and just opening up. Now in YinYasa, we have Vinyasa, a rigorous flowing meditation that warms up the body. And then we have Yin, where we come down onto the mat and stretch the fascia, which I'll explain a little more about in a bit. This first part is just warming up and stretching the body, allowing you to feel every inch of it. And so as you stretch your hands forward towards the front of the room, I want you to also set your hips down upon your heels. Take your knees out as wide as you can on the mat. Now, if this is uncomfortable at the very first part of your day or at the very end, you can always set down upon your block. This allows you to stretch your spine without putting pressure on your knees or your hips. So as you do this, reach forward towards the front of your mat. You notice my forearms are up off the mat because this is an active child's pose. As we come into this balasana, I want you to just drop your chest down towards the mat as much as you can. You can feel the stretch in your hips as you do this. Keep those elbows up off the mat and let the chest sink down. Now, whenever you feel the need, just let your forehead drop down to the mat. Then from here, settle in. This is home, always. They say that home is within the heart, and the heart lies within. And so it stands to reason that you are always home. And so feel your home. Feel your body as it cradles your soul. Bring your heart down to the mat and engage your breath as you take a deep inhale in and a deep exhale out. Another deep inhale in, exhale out. As if you were pulling in all of the power that you possibly can. Take this next deep inhale in. Hold it for a moment. Make it precious. Attach all your anxieties, all your worries, and then exhale them all out. Ah. That's it. Feel it. Then from here, we're going to start to work a little bit of spine opening. Now, I'll give you variations and modifications. You go where you need to today. That's the beauty of yoga. You can show someone a posture. You can show someone variations. But it belongs to you. And so lift yourself up over your wrists. As you do, take your toes together and begin to lift your heels up as well. Now, as you are here, you can feel the stacking of your shoulder, elbow, and wrist. If it's too far back, you'll have too much pressure. If it's too far forward, the same will be true. So try to bring it right over your wrists as you lift up your heels. Then, from here, lift up your gaze, high up into the air. And as you lift your head up, lift your head up, lift your head up. Stretch your chin forward. And as you lift your chin up towards the ceiling, maybe bring the heels up. Let the hips drop. Let them go as much as they'll allow. You still have the stack with your elbows and wrists, shoulders on top. Now from here, if you want to take it into another level, tuck your elbows in, lift your chin up, and then drop that belly down. Lower down about halfway until your elbows are parallel with your back. Hold it here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel this in your shoulders, in your biceps, in your triceps, and then lift it back up. Hold, stretch, lift the heels high. As I said, this is opening up. So you're starting to fire up the body by getting the pulse going. You're starting to fire up the muscles by taxing them. And so as you lower those hips and tuck those elbows in, lift your chin up, lift your heels up, lower down halfway and hold. Push it back up. There you go. Now you can really feel that chest thumping a little bit. And as you do, remember your breath. That is the regulator. That will bring serenity. As you tuck your elbows in, lift your head up, lift your heels up, lower down halfway and hold. Don't forget to breathe. And then push it back up and lean back into that child's pose. Really try to find your spine. Take the back of your tailbone, the very tip of it, and send it towards the wall behind you. At the same time, keep those arms nice, tight, off the mat. Drop the head down. This time, let's take some of the stress out of our neck by taking your forehead and massaging it on the mat, back and forth. Now, we call this massaging the third eye center. But what you're really doing as well is you're bringing a little bit of motion into your neck. Maybe for the first time today, whether it's the afternoon after a long day at your desk, or whether you just got out of bed. Allow this back and forth motion to not only warm up the neck, but bring serenity and peace. Rhythm in our life is important. When the rhythm of our life is disturbed, then the symphony can't play the music, as it were. And so rhythm is a natural serenity. It is a natural calmness. So allow this rhythm back and forth for just a moment and let it happen. And then stop in the middle. Set your hips down on your heels. Stretch your hands forward. Once again, lift up, lift up, lift up. If you need to walk your hands back to adjust so you can stack your joints, go ahead and do it. Then from here, as you lift those heels up, tuck that elbow in, lower down halfway and hold. Hold it here. Let's count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push it back up. Come into a tabletop. Now from this tabletop, we're going to work a little bit of core. Now, traditionally in cat-cow, that's flexing the pelvis, as we like to call it, flossing the spine. And as you do this back and forth, I want you to feel the very lower part of your spine in the sacrum. It's not very mobile, so this is about the best rotation exercise you can do for it. And as you lift it up and down in this cat-cow motion, just feel the warmth. We're not quite into the whole asana yet. I just want you to warm that sacrum up. That's one of the places in our body that's kind of ground zero for everybody over 10 years old. It's super tight all the time. And that's the place where you want to send your energy, your warmth, and your strength. And as you do this, stop and find a neutral spine. Now we call this cat-cow, and that's what we'll do for the first set. Then we're going to change it up a little bit. So as you do this, I want you to drop your head down. Round your shoulders forward. Notice that my toes are curled underneath. And as I lift my navel up towards my spine, my head begins to drop down towards the floor. Maybe even take a look at your mat. Maybe even take a look between your knees. Keep yourself squeezing that navel up towards the spine. Squeeze, 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 and then release it. As you take a nice rhythmic breath, lift the head up. As you come in the cow, lift that head up. Once again, flex that spine, floss that sacrum, roll it around, let that belly drop. Yep, we're opening up the hips and working the core today. Round your shoulders. Drop your head down. Lift your navel up towards your spine. Feel this work as you come up. Now here's where we're going to change it up a little bit. We do cat-cow, but in my class we do something called bull and lion. It adds a little bit of oomph to this particular asana. And so as you come down, I want you to imagine yourself as a bull. And I want you to drop your horns down. And I want you to begin to roll those hips side to side as if you were stomping in the field. And then I want you to begin to pull that navel up towards the spine. Point those horns forward. Lift your knees 2 inches off the mat. Now you're the bull. Pull those elbows in towards your rib cage. Squeeze. And then release your knees down. Here we come into lion. You begin to lift up that proud lion chest. Lift up your gaze as you gaze out across the Serengeti, all your kingdom in front of you. And then maybe you can shake that mane just a little bit. As you lift your head up, how about a lion's roar and let it go? And then drop that bull down. Bring those horns forward. Lift that navel up towards your spine. Round your hips. And as you round your back up, curl your toes underneath. Lift your knees up off the mat. Squeeze. That's it. You can feel it. You know why they call it the solar plexus? Because that's where all your fire comes from. That's where your energy, your prana, your chi live. And so fire it up. Feel it. And then drop the knees. Once again, that proud lion's chest comes up. That gaze comes forward, maybe side to side, just a little bit. Feel the flexibility in your neck. And then lift that head high. Let it go. One more time, a lion's roar. And then come back into a neutral spine. Now you can feel your body has warmed up. Now you have given yourself the vision inside for your guided meditation. Now you come into your flow, your moving meditation. So from here, I want you to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Come into a downward facing dog. Now this downward facing dog is a little different than what you might be used to. Monroe is a mountain town, and so we do the mountain dog. And that means lifting those hips as high as you can up into the air. The heels come up as well. You create this mountain with your body. I want you to lift the peak of your mountain up into the air. And as you press your chest back towards your thighs, lift your hips up even higher. Feel the stretch all along the back of your leg, up into your glutes. Then press your belly back towards your thighs.
drop your head down between your shoulders. Maybe your ears come past your elbows. Lift this all up high into the air, 14,000 feet. And then slowly begin to release it down to the mat. Let those heels drop down. Now, no matter how tight your calves and your hamstrings are, just remember, the requirement is not that your heels hit the mat. The requirement, if there is one, is that you feel your heels. You feel your Achilles tendons. You feel your calves. Feel the back of your knees. Feel your hamstrings, your glutes. Tip the pelvis forward. Lift the hips up. Press the belly back towards the thighs. And then from here, lift that right leg high into the air. Stretch it long. Now remember, keep the weight distributed equally in both hands. 50% in each side. Don't shift one way or the other. Where the curvature comes is at your hip. So as you lift your leg high into the air, we come into half scorpion. Another hip opener. Let that heel drift towards your left shoulder. Take that knee high up into the air. Notice my heel on the left side is coming up and down. We'll work with that in a moment. And as you lift this up and over, hold it. Feel the rotation right at the hip. And then let's work that left calf. So lift it up high and lower it down. Lift it up high and lower it down. One last time. Lift it up high, lower it down, straighten your right leg, and then begin to step it through. Slowly at first until you bring your right foot over towards your right wrist. Then from here, taking that left knee down on the ground, lift up into crescent moon. Now from crescent moon, what I like to be able to do is come into a back bend. You have this nice strong base underneath you. If you're stacking your hips and your knees, if you're keeping your shoulders over your hips, and so you're in a nice straight line, you feel confident. Then from here, you can just let those hands and that head drop behind you. Let it release. Let it go. And as you lean back, maybe you open up your arms. Let them come open. You can feel your pectoral muscles stretch. You can feel the sternum pop a little bit. That's that joint in the middle. That's right, you have a joint in the middle of your chest. You know why it's there? So your heart can grow. So let it. And then drop your hands down behind your back. Pull those strong arms. And then come on back up. Bring your hand down to your knee. And we're going to come into a posture called Ardha Matsyenasana. This is monkey pose. And as you come into monkey pose, your block can help you. So a lot of people call this half splits or quarter splits. But as you come into this, if you need your block under your thigh in order to come down without giving too much pressure, that works well. You can also just come down onto your haunches. Notice how my left knee is parallel. As I can stretch out over the top of my leg. Now from here, take your chin forward towards your toes. Curl your toes back towards your nose. As you curl those toes back towards your nose, begin to stretch your chin out towards the top of your leg. And then slowly, once you can't do this anymore, what you've done is you've lengthened your spine. Now, we're going to round the spine by bringing the forehead down towards the knee. Give it a nice little pull. As you do this, you can feel this all the way along the side of your leg. Come down, nice squeeze. We're stretching the body open so that we can come into our final flows. And then walk yourself back up once you've had your fill. Come on back up. From here, you can tuck that knee back in. Bring both hands on the inside of your right ankle. Then, from here, lift that right knee up off the ground. Send that Right leg, can't have two right legs, so that left knee came off the ground. Stretch that right leg long, and then lower it down. Come back into this swaying back and forth with your hips and a nice little rotation of the sacrum. Bring yourself back into a nice rhythmic breath. And then set those legs down. Press the chest back. And lift that left leg high into the air. Stretch it nice and long. Remember, the weight is equally distributed in your hands. Press your chest back towards your thigh. Lift that leg high. Find the rotation at your hip and let your foot come down towards your right shoulder. Lift that left knee up into the air. Notice that right heel lifting up and down a little bit. We'll go there in a moment. For now, just open up that hip. Stretch open the side of your body. Feel the obliques lengthen out from your hip to your rib cage. And then let's work that right calf. So lift up that right heel. Lower it back down. Lift up that right heel. You can feel this all along the back of your leg. Lower it back down. One more time. Lift it up as high as you can. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Rotate, rotate, open. Lower it down. Step it through. Drop the right knee. Lift your body up. Up go the hands. Back go the hair. And as you lift your hands up into the air, try to line yourself up again. Take those elbows, straighten them out. Bring your shoulders parallel with your hips. Take the hips, stack them on top of your knees. Hold it here. And then just let those hands drop. Let your head drop back. Maybe the pelvis tilts forward just a little bit. Let yourself open up. Release it. Open your heart. Open your mind. They say, if you free your mind, your ass will follow. Then pull back. Let your chin lift up. And then come on back up. Circle sweep your hands up above your head. Drop your hands down. And lean back. Ardha Humanasana once again. Stretch that leg forward. Come on front. As you come up, remember to stretch the chin rather towards your toes. You feel it all along the back of your hamstrings as you do this. And as you stretch forward, as you walk forward, lengthening that spine, pull that chin up, pull those toes back, stretch that hamstring into the floor, and then release yourself down. Maybe take that leg all the way out to the side again. You can come into full splits by all means. And then come on back up. And as you come on back up, tuck your leg in. Bring your hands on the inside of that left ankle. Lift up your right knee. Send that left foot high into the air one more time. And lower it down. That's our flow. Just a little bit. Now, if flow is a lot for you, you can modify at any point, any time. You don't necessarily need to do the whole thing. But as you come through this, we're warming up the body and coming into our yin pretty soon. So once again, downward facing dog. This time, lift up that right leg. Tuck your knee into your nose. Pull it up as much as you can. Round the belly. Pull that spine up into the air. Tuck your navel in. Stretch it out long. Then this time, take that right knee over to your right elbow. Hold it here. Stretch it long. Here we go. This time, listen carefully. Take your right knee over to your left elbow. Tap it. Right elbow. Tap it. Stretch it long. And then step it through. Come on up into a crescent lunge.
Now this crescent lunge, your feet are pointing forward in the number 11. Your hands come up into the air. When we talk about this, we talk about rooting to rise. So what you do is you take that tree trunk body, stick it down into the ground, roll those shoulders back, lift those branches high, lower into it. Feel it. And as you do, as you lower those hips, roll the shoulders back, stretch that proud body forward. From here, take your hands behind your back, humble warrior. Reach down, lift your arms up over your head. From humble warrior, take your hand down to the floor. Lift your arm up into the air. A nice twist. Drop your hand down behind your back. Take your other hand up to meet it. Reach up, reach up, reach up. And find that crescent lunge. Then open it up into a warrior two. Now from this side, that front foot comes forward. The thigh tries to be as parallel to the floor as possible. Then as you reach your arms forward and back, see my shoulders stacked over my hips. A lot of times people reach in a little bit early. Stay here first. Sculpt this posture out. Look at the back leg, locked out. Then from here, flip your palm, reach forward, reverse your warrior. Open it up. Feel the rib cage, that intercostal muscles, all opening up. As you stretch towards the back leg, then straighten that leg. Lift it up. Give it a little juice. Come on down. Open up to this extended warrior. Now, if you don't want to straighten that leg, you can always bend it. But from here, come into traditional side angle. That's where the hand comes forward towards the front of the room. And then when you extend that side angle, you take the bottom hand and stretch it forward as well. Take your chin up to your shoulder. Look up towards the ceiling. Squeeze it. And then come on back. Bend that knee. Reverse that warrior. And then cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Stretch that right leg long. And come into a plank. Tuck in your elbows. Lower down halfway. Lower down all the way. Upward facing dog. Now as you take this upward facing dog, you leave your thighs down the first time. It's kind of a modified baby cobra upward facing dog. That's because I want you to release that spine. One more time. Let those hips drop towards the floor. And then slowly, lower down halfway, lower down all the way. Push yourself up. Come into that downward facing dog once again. Pedal out those legs, back and forth, back and forth. Then lift that left leg high into the air. Stretch it nice and long. Then bring that knee to your nose. Tuck it in tightly. Bring the navel up towards the spine. Stretch it out long. Here we go. Left knee, left elbow, tap it. Stretch it out long. Now listen carefully. Left knee, right elbow, tap it. Left elbow, tap it. Stretch it out long. Here we go. Knee into nose. Step it through. Lift it up, up, up. Crescent lunge. Here we go. Lower it down first. Roll the shoulders back. Pop that proud chest out there. Lift those arms up towards the ceiling. Roll those shoulders back. Root to rise. Stick that tree into the ground. Grow it tall. Oh yeah. And then hands behind the back. Chin up. Humble warrior. Whoops. And as you come down, try to bring your shoulder to your knee. Drop your head. Look between your legs. Lift your arms up over your back. Some people are amazing at this part. Then, right hand down to the mat. Left hand up into the air. A nice little twist. Take
Take your hand to your back. Fire up that left leg. Come all the way back up. As you do, come on up. Little technical difficulties here. When you move around with these microphones, it's something else. So here we go. As you come up, open up. Warrior two. Back leg locked out, back foot 45-degree angle. Front thigh as parallel to the floor as you can make it. Sink down, open up. Right here. Notice shoulders, hips. Feel it. Sculpt this posture out, right? And then from here, reach forward. Flip your palm. Reverse that warrior. Lift it up into the air. Feel as you come up, up, up into the air. Now as you reach behind you, the intercostal muscles open up all along the rib cage. Lift the hand up and then straighten that leg. A little bit more mojo. Hold it here. Breathing. Then here we go. Side angle. Again, your option if you want to bend the knee, you can. Keep it in straight. Come up. From here, take that hand forward. Stretch it towards the front of the room. Lift that lower arm up. Take your chin to your shoulder. Look up towards the ceiling. Breathing the whole time. And then bend the knee. Reverse your warrior. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Kick that left leg back. Lower your foot down. Come into a plank. Tuck the elbows in. Lower down halfway. Lower down all the way. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Pedal out those legs back and forth. Back and forth. And then come on down onto the knees. And have a little break. That's your first part of your vinyasa. We'll have one more posture to go to open us up and to bring us into yin. And as we come into yin, we'll find a whole different stretch. It's actually not a stretch at all. It is a release. You can stretch your muscles. They're rather like rubber bands. But the fascia that holds those muscles to your body is not. It's more like leather, and it's very lumpy, very uneven. It creates a lot of knots, and bumps, and blockages, and you are the only one who can open them up. And the way you open them up is to release them in yin. So this next posture, you may be doing this latitude on the mat. I'm going to spin around to show everybody what we're going to do. Now as you come into this first part, this is malasana. So everybody drop down onto your basically behind, right? Your glutes are pointed towards the floor. And notice that the back of my arms are on the inside of my legs. I'm not pinching my elbows to my knees. And as you do this, squeeze those legs out a little bit. Bring your hands to heart center. And try to bring your hands to your chest. See what happens? You're actually taking out your legs even more. It's as if you're opening up the jaws of a vice. That vice is your hips. That vice is your sacrum. So push on the inside of your legs. Bring your hands to heart center. Oh yeah, I know you feel it. Then lift your head up towards the ceiling. Drop that booty down towards the ground. And be grateful that you can do any of this at all. Whatever time of day it is, it's always a new moment for gratitude and grace. Now, from here, we like to have a little fun. We come into a posture known as crow. You take your hands down to the mat. Now, if all you want to do is just play with this for a moment, that's fine, because that's what it's all about. It's about play. Taking your hands down to the mat, make sure that the inside of your legs are on the back of your arms again. Then as you rock forward, feel the weight come up. Maybe lift one toe, maybe lift the other toe. Now the reason the block comes into play, if you want to have a little security, you can always place the block there and put your forehead on it and practice lifting your toes up in the air. Or the alternate is that you can take it behind you and step up on top of it, and that naturally dips your head forward. Either way, come on into this crow. Now, those of you who have done this before, you may be wanting to come into an inversion. Drop your head down and lift up your hips. Notice it's still not all that hard in the sense that you're just upside down. What becomes difficult is getting your legs in the air. So you have to lift your hips up straight first. Find your balance, and then stretch those legs. And as you come down and play with that, you notice, you're smiling. You can't help yourself. Little kids do headstands all day long. They don't care if they crash to the ground. And when you do one, that's what happens to your heart. You become a little kid. It's a thrill to be upside down. And that's a perfect entrance into yin. Yin is not about big movements like Vinyasa or Hatha or any of the other asana really. Yin is about very small movements within your body that release your fascia and let all of the tension go. When that happens, you become not just more flexible, but more open. And what I mean by that is that when we bunch in, as we may be all feeling packed in, everything begins to shut down. It becomes just a core activity. You become stuck in that own mental blender of yours, and then you hit frap. And that's not good for us. We need to live outside of ourselves. We need to see around us in order for us to feel engaged. And the way to do that is to start the vision on the inside. And so as you come into your first yin posture, we're just going to do a simple caterpillar. Now, a lot of you have bolsters, long pillows at home, and you can use it to bolster yourself up as you come down into these postures. Yin has postures that last up to 5 minutes. In this particular version, we'll probably only go 2 for each one of them. And so it'll be up to you to get intense right away. Now this first one, with a block or with a pillow, is going to be called bridge. As you come into bridge, this posture allows you to open up a lot of things. Now the way that I instruct folks to come into this is to lift your legs up into the air. That might already be a challenge. And then lift your hips up and tuck the block in underneath. Now you notice I have it flat. You can take it lengthwise if you want. Some people even take it all the way up. Now from here, drop your heels down towards the floor. Rather than flopping your legs out straight, just tuck them in, let them come down. Then bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your legs come down. Now, this is called the supreme version of bridge because you're allowing your hips to open as well. You could stay here, lift your hips up and work your sacrum. But if you bring your feet together, let your knees flop to the side, you open up your hips as well. And then from here, it's all about allowing things to happen. Now, in yin, we come to a place called the edge. And you really don't need to see what's happening on the outside of your body. You use your mind's eye to walk towards that edge. Maybe that edge means that you press your knees a little closer to the floor. Maybe that edge means that you can feel your hips releasing. Whatever it is, you keep walking towards the edge. A lot of people, when they get to the edge, they find pain, and that's when you step away from the edge. But if you're not finding pain, continue to walk towards the edge. You'll find that the edge is not the edge of an abyss. It is the edge of the light that you shine forward. The light that you shine forward pushes the edge back ever so slightly every step you take forward. And so you take yourself to your edge. Yin is a practice that's over 5,000 years old. In one way or another, yoga has been around for a long, long time. It started, they say, with a tribe, the Rishi, that wandered the Himalayan plains. This tribe sought enlightenment in a brutal time in our history. And so rather than sacrificing each other, they sacrificed their egos. They found meditation. And as they found this meditation, they meditated for hours. This made them pretty sore and stiff. And that's where physical asana was born, to release that and bring the body back into alignment. Yin is bringing the pulleys, the winches, the casings, the walls back into alignment. Take a deep inhale in and a deep exhale out. Another deep inhale in, exhale. Finally, this last time, take a deep inhale in, hold it, and stretch the inside of your rib cage for just a moment. And release it all out into the room. Bring your knees together, lift them up towards your chest, slide your block out from underneath you, and straighten out your legs. Now, the next version of this is a complementary version of it. This time, you take your block or your pillow, place it down on your mat. Now, this takes a little positioning where your shoulder blades are going to be. So as you lean back into this, you'll find where your head is. Once you do, tuck it in just a little bit more because the head drapes over the top of the block. Once you find this position, straighten it out just a little bit. Everybody's built a little bit differently back there. Bring the bottoms of your feet together again and lean back. Now this posture has the distinctly unsexy name of supported fish. And so I have taken it upon myself to change that name. This posture is now known as open heart. For me, anyway. And the reason why is because it's probably one of the most vulnerable postures you can do. I mean, look at yourself. You're completely open to the world. And yet here you are, safe, loved, protected. I consider this one of the most courageous postures you can do. There is no fear. There is no anxiety. There's just you opening up everything you possibly can, growing and making space inside of yourself at the very root, at the fascia. The fascia does a wonderful job. It holds us together. If we didn't have fascia, we'd fall apart. But sometimes that which holds us together holds us back. And so we need to release, to let it go in so many ways. Expectation is one of the most toxic words in the human language. Release your expectations. That way, everything that happens will be a pleasant surprise. Take a deep inhale in and a deep exhale out. Another deep inhale in, exhale out. Finally, this last time, take that deep inhale in. Hold it at the top. And release it all out. Gently take your knees together. Roll over on your side, off your block. Bring your knees up into your chest. Hold yourself tightly. Squeeze yourself into a ball. Stretch your shoulder blades. Stretch your back. Squeeze your heels up towards your hips. That's all the physical stuff that you're doing. But what you're really doing is showing love and affection for the most important person you know. You. Because when you take care of yourself, when you love yourself, you are available to take care of others, to take care of yourself. And as you learn this, you learn to love. Then come on back up. That's why we have lids on water bottles. And come on to your side. As you come onto your side, lift yourself up into a seated position. Take your legs out nice and wide. Now when you do this, we're going to do one more lengthening of the spine, and then we're going to open up those hips one last time before we come into our guided meditation. So here you go. Still have that sunblock on my nose. Got a little sunburn. It was nice outside. Now stretch the chin out forward. Walk your hands out. As you walk your hands out, stretch them out forward towards the front of the room. Walk them forward. Then keep your chin up as long as you can. Drop it down. Let your head drop between your hands. Press your hamstrings into the floor. Curl your toes back towards your nose. Now again, if you need your block, there it is. Whatever profile it may take in order for you to find your edge. As you reach forward, you look for that edge, then drop your head down. All my lovely long locks, where have they gone? And then from here, walk your hands over towards your right ankle. Now, keep your chin towards your foot. Stretch yourself out over the top of your leg. We're going to come into a posture known as compass. It is yin and YinYasa at the same time because it makes you stretch all those things that you stretched in Vinyasa, but we're going to take our time doing it. Then from here, as you bring yourself down, maybe grasp with your right hand and then lift your left hand up towards the ceiling. Compass pose. Now as you reach up towards the ceiling, take that compass and begin to point the needle over towards your ankle. Rotate down. Keep your chin up as long as you can, if possible. Drop your hand down as low as it will go. Hold it here. Keep yourself open. You may feel a variety of things release and pop, and that's good. That gives that fascia space. When you feel a pop, 9 times out of 10, it's fascia. And then walk your hands forward. Over to your left ankle. Again, take that chin out, reach forward, drop down, drop down, drop down. All the way along the back of your leg. You can feel it. Then lifting that hand up into the air. Reach up high, reach up tall, reach up long. Come on, over the top. Now, if you keep your chin up towards your shoulder, you can really feel the rib cage opening up. As you come into this side of the compass, let that needle come down. Let it go slow. Don't just jump it down there. Let it be slow. You can feel the stretch in your hip flexors. The hip flexors are attached to your hip by guess what? Yup. Fascia. Tendons, ligaments, connective tissue. And then drop it all the way down if you like. Keep yourself open. Breathe. 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 And then just walk yourself back in. Lift yourself up. Now from here, one last little bit. In this posture, we'll have a couple of different variations. We call it shoelace. Now you can just take it here. And if you want to just leave it here and bring your chin down into your chest, that's fine. A lot of people, especially early or late, are tight. And the last thing you want to do in yin is yank or twist or twerk, because that's going to injure a muscle, and it's probably going to give you a little bit of trouble. What you want to be able to do is, again, remember that it's small motions. If you want to take it into the traditional shoelace, bring your knees together, take your right heel up on your left knee, cradle your leg in your arm. Now this is it for some folks. It's as far as I can go. If you want to go farther, bring your legs together, pull your feet behind you. Make sure your hips are nice and square on the floor. Then slowly drop your chin towards your chest. Again, the block could be here. Pillow could be here. You're going to feel this in a lot of different places. The more you let go, the more you try to walk towards your edge. We'll do a minute on each side. Lift your chin up, and then slowly unfurl yourself out. Take those legs forward. You can bounce them off the floor, pedal them out a little bit, bring some circulation back. Now, yin will teach you more than any other asana how different your left and right side of your body can be, especially because we come into such akimbo postures that give you a chance to feel the differences. You're not flowing through it, you're sitting with it for a bit. So here we go one more time. The reason why I say it, because this is always a little tougher for me on this side of my body. So once again, bringing it up. If that's where you want to stay, you're going to be here for a while, and if it's uncomfortable, that's okay. If it's painful, that's not. And come over here, bring those feet behind you. Again, here's the difference with my hips. I'm still flat on the ground. Just don't pull this leg back as far as I had the other one. And then lifting up my chin, release down. Maybe wrap your arms in front. Bring yourself close. Keep the hips down. Try to concentrate on that part of it. Feel the length in your legs, even though they're all tangled up like shoelaces. Doing this for a minute. A few more seconds.
Come on back up. Let those legs stretch out. Pedal them out, back and forth. Here we go. Now we come into this last few moments of this practice in a guided meditation. I have a little treat, little special effects. So let me step out of the frame for just a moment. In the meantime, you lie down. If you have a pillow with you, if you want to bolster your head up, if you want to put something underneath your knees, you're not going to be doing anything else for the next 3 or 4 minutes. And so you find that spot. Let me get the room all set up. I want you to feel this for a moment. Just the serenity of your own heartbeat after a beautiful practice. And as you come down onto your mat and lie down, if you want to close your eyes, that's fine. If you want to lean on your side and watch your monitor, that's cool too. But I'm going to lead you on a little bit of a guided meditation, something that people really enjoy here at Bliss Yoga Studios. And this part of it is just a release. So as you lie on your mat, you feel the warmth of the floor, feel the warmth of your body. You listen, you feel. Maybe you close your eyes and you go somewhere else. We've been locked up a lot inside. Not a lot of places to go. And so maybe just for a little while, you take yourself on a little journey, once again, inside. So maybe you're lying on a beach. These days, you have to be on that beach alone. But as you feel the whole world around you, the Zen of feeling every interconnected human, animal, plant, mineral, train. Maybe you smell the sea air filling your nose. Maybe it's nighttime and you see stars as you lie on this beach. The bright full moon in the distance. Maybe you hear the waves roll in and roll out. Roll in and roll out. Maybe you feel the spray of those waves coming a little closer with each set. Maybe you look up at those stars and they look down at you. And the waves roll in and roll out. Roll in and roll out. The warmth of the sand underneath your body caresses it, holds every nook and every cranny in serenity. And the waves roll in, and roll out. You can feel them now, massaging your toes with the foam of the sea, up behind your ankles and your calves. You can feel it lifting your body ever so slightly off the sand. And as it does, and the waves roll in and roll out, you roll in and roll out. Gently, in and out, farther and farther, until you realize that you have become the waves and you drift out farther into the sea. And as the sea, you cover this tiny blue ball with your life-giving goodness, your grace, your fertility, your power. It is said that enlightenment is when a wave realizes it's the ocean. I am blessed. I get to do this. I get to share this practice with you even in these times, because I am blessed. Once I asked a question and you were the answer. My purpose is you, and I am blessed. We have all faced so many different scenarios in these past few months. But the one thing that has remained steady amongst all of it is our love, our bliss. Bliss is not a place. It is a state of being. And when we are being with you, we are being in our bliss. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. Never forget to love yourselves as much as we love you here at Bliss. Om Shanti Shanti. May the peace and grace of every creature, great and small, fill your heart with love. Namaste, my friends.